on average to run the business, we are talking about £16,000 a month.
Hi buddy, I've missed you. I've not.
Finally, at Topiary, the distillery, this is an absolute cracking little area. Really cool. So we've had 160k turnover since April. In 3.5 weeks I have got to find and pay. It's pretty scary. Good morning folks, it is Monday, it is a new week and we have a lot of catching up to do. Last week I didn't actually bring the camera out because, again, we had this little bit of an issue with the videos, trying to get on top of them. They were getting on top of me. I had a meeting with a videographer who is now taking over the editing of these videos. You'll probably have noticed the difference in the quality from when I was editing it to when Enrico has been editing it. So yeah, there was a bit of faffing about in that last week anyway, so I just left the camera where it was, tried to get on top of things, and we're kind of hitting the ground running this week with the videos again. So fingers crossed, we are on top of it now. Again, the editing was just getting too much. These videos take a hell of a lot of time to edit, and when you're trying to run a business, trying to deal with staff, trying to deal with clients, deal with cash flow and all these other problems, then it can be quite difficult. But it feels like not long ago I was just sitting in this office explaining this to you, and here we are again. Nevertheless, I want to hit the ground running this week, get some more content out, and hopefully here on forth it should be a smoother sort of operation. And I think we're going to be getting Enrico down for some filming as well, which will be good. So yeah, definitely moving in the right direction. I've always said I want to do this properly, and I don't really like doing things half-hearted, so I want to kind of go all in, hence getting a videographer on board. It's going to be better at editing. It's going to take the kind of workload off me, but also produce a better result. So it's a win-win. Obviously does come at a cost, but you know, everything does. So I didn't pull the camera out this morning. I didn't actually see the guys this morning. I seen Kyle, but I started off my day recovering a van from the A9. Aaron, sorry Aaron if you're watching these videos, but Aaron, Michael's son, phoned me this morning saying he broke down, the alternator belt snapped in the van, so that was the first job of the day, going and recovering that, which I didn't get any footage of obviously, but it is the last cuts of the season and the guys are out doing the round, the usual Monday round. Kyle is out on his own and Mike and Alex are out doing their round. So Damian has been living it up in Portugal for a week. He was away all last week. You wouldn't have known because we haven't filmed, but he was away all last week getting some sun, and he's coming back to reality tomorrow, so that should be good. The idea for this week is hopefully going to get Mike and Alex to do the majority of the final cuts, whilst me, Kyle and Damian can crack on with the hedge work we've got to do. I'm very conscious of the colder weather coming in. It is milder this week, so it should be a good opportunity to get the hedges knocked out, especially those conifers, and we've also got quite a lot of topiary to do at the distillery, so really want to kind of crack on with that and try and get some of these wrapped up before the harsh weather comes in. So that's the plan of action. Whether it goes like that, I have no idea, because you know yourself, it usually does not happen how I want it to. So anyway, I have got to deliver some firewood, and that is what we are going to do right now. Time to load up. Let's see how easy this puppy starts. Oh wow! I don't know what most people use for firewood. I know some people cut the IBC tanks and put them on top, but I found these little 1.5 metre tarps very handy for keeping the wood dry, because that is bone dry. Jasmine. Right, we're loaded up with a cube and we're ready to go and deliver. Nice and local delivery. So we are down to our last 5 cubes of firewood, and I think we processed about 30 of them. So pretty good going considering it's not even, you know, it's the 14th of October. The colder months aren't even here yet, and people are still buying. So it's good, but it's also annoying because I don't have any more split ready to go. So when people do get in touch, it's like you let them down and then they go elsewhere, and then 9 times out of 10, once someone's got firewood, they're probably going to go back to that same supplier again and again. So you're almost just giving away custom because you don't have the supply to give them. Now, not a massive deal because firewood is not like our sole income. It's not our main income. It's just like a sideline. However, it is something I want to kind of get into, and it's been one of those ones that I kind of put in place because I wanted to have something for the guys to do when the weather was bad or if we were quiet. But the thing is, we've been that busy with other more pressing things. You almost have to make the time for doing the firewood, which is quite difficult when, like I say, your diary is filled up elsewhere. So it's one of those ones. It was getting closer and closer to the colder season, and I just said to the guys, like, we're going to have to spend a few days and get some of this firewood knocked out, in which we did. So we got the processor. I obviously invested in the processor, so we got that to use, and we got through the majority of the logs that we have. I also do need to get more logs in, but some of the prices I had locally were just extortionate, especially for hardwood. It was like £100 a tonne I was quoted, and when you're paying £100 a tonne for hardwood, it's very difficult, in my opinion, to make a pound at that. You know, you've got to sell a hell of a lot of wood before you even, you know, break even. So it's one of those ones, if we get into the more sort of tree work, then it's free, you know, you're not having to pay for the wood. So that's the idea, but I think I've messed this up. Oh, can I reverse down here? I don't think I'm going to get turned. This will be interesting. But anyway, yeah, like I say, it's just another thing I've got to navigate, work out, and try and make work. But like I say, there is a fine line if you make money or not at this game. I really must get a smaller van for these firewood deliveries. I don't know if it's just my luck, but all the firewood deliveries I get are usually horrible access. It really does test your driving ability, but I think we have made it. How are you getting on, Kyle?
Great, last cut of the season.
How do you feel?
I won't lie and say that I'm disappointed.
So, just checked in with the guys there. Everything is going well. The grass is obviously shorter, so it doesn't take as long to cut, so they're getting done in good time. Which is nice, because usually you're battling with the grass, you're cutting really overgrown stuff, and it's sometimes hard to get a nice product. But this time you can spend a little bit more time. You can focus on the sort of finish rather than trying to get as much grass off it as possible. So yeah. Partly why I'd like to go into weekly cuts, but I just don't know if people would pay for that, but it's something we're going to kind of look into. So yeah, what I've got to do is I've now got to load up another 2 cube of firewood that is going to be delivered, hopefully when the guys are back, because there's nowhere to actually tip off the firewood, so it's either going to have to be handballed and thrown over the fence or into wheelbarrows and then dumped down the back. So yeah, I'm going to go and load up now, and when the guys are finished they can help me deliver it. So I've just been in the office catching up on some invoicing for the work that was done last week and trying to get the money in. I've touched on the VAT in a previous video. It's pretty scary. Our VAT bill now is £9,877, and that is due. In 3.5 weeks I have got to find and pay nearly £10,000. Now this is where it starts to get a bit more serious. You know, before I would always spend quite a lot of money So I would never really have to pay that much VAT. And I can just show you here, for example, I'm not lying. So this is my software here. So at the start of the year, we actually had a rebate of £4,389, which is always nice to have. And then the next quarter was 1,465, and this is the next quarter, £9,877. Yeah, pretty scary. And this top one here is now the new quarter, which started on the 1st of October, so this month. So yeah, if anyone's questioning my credibility when saying so, you've just seen it in the flesh there. So it's very scary, but it's also very exciting to know that we are obviously producing enough revenue to have to pay that much VAT. The thing is to remember, and I don't remember, is the VAT is not mine, it never is yours. The difficulty is you get paid the VAT, and 9 times out of 10, if you're having cash flow problems, the VAT is then used to go elsewhere because you need to pay bills, pay suppliers, pay your staff. So whereas realistically, you should have a separate account for the VAT. As soon as the invoice is paid, you take 20% of that invoice and you put it into this account. Anyone who thinks I've got it sussed would be very wrong, because this is something that I think a lot of business owners will face and struggle with, but especially if you're trying to expand, you know, like we've invested so much more money this year. It's not like we're just getting by, not doing anything, not buying anything, and we're struggling to pay the VAT. It's like I'm throwing money into everything, you know, more tools, all these little things that add up as well, you know, a few £100 here. It just, like, it all adds up without realising. And I'm not the greatest with money. I never ever said I was. So yeah, I know we'll make it work. We have to make it work. There's no doubt about it. Just work that a little bit harder. And I've always said this before, it's funny how you can pool money from different places when you need it. I'm not saying like dodgy places are like going for a loan, but like it's funny how when you actually need the money, you can scramble to get that money. You can get invoices in, get invoices paid. I suppose you could collect a deposit for materials on a job, which means that you're then going to be catching up when you get there, but it's almost just like you're chasing your tail all that time, and sometimes you might need to do that. But yeah, all exciting things. All the stuff that goes in the background that I do want to show and be transparent about. Because at the end of the day, some people don't like speaking about numbers, and I've had this conversation with someone lately. They were, I don't like speaking about money, it just makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. But like at the end of the day, this is just a figure, you know? This is just a figure on the screen. Like when you almost detach from money like that, which I feel like you need to do, then it becomes more about cash flow and profits and stuff like this. It's just like the top line is just nothing, you know? It doesn't really mean anything. In fact, I don't actually care. I can be completely transparent because I'm currently a sole trader, right? So none of this is on company's house, but I don't mind sharing, because if I was a limited company, it would be all over the internet. So this accounting period, from the start of April, we have turned over £160,000, and it is now currently the 14th of October. So we've had £160k turnover since April. Last year we turned over £202,000. And that means we are projected to, I don't know how to work out projections, but I think we're going to be somewhere in the region of probably £250,000 to, or shall I say, £200,000 to £300,000. I'm not exactly sure. You never know what's going to happen. We have got more staff than last year, so theoretically that should produce more revenue. So turnover wise, we're probably going to be in the £200,000 to £300,000. Now, instantly people think, wow, 200 to 300k, it's just a figure. And I am proud of the fact that, you know, we're turning over that much, and we are doing well. There's profit to be made. We're probably sitting around 40-50% profit. So last year we had a £202,000 turnover, and the net profit was £89,000, so nearly £90,000 of profit. So it's not like we're turning over this money and looking at that going, wow, and not making any money. You're just like working for pennies. We are making a profit. This year again, it's looking pretty healthy. Maybe not as much, but £160,000 turnover since April, and we've got a £67,000 net profit. So yeah, there's profit to be made, but again, I do not have £67,000 in my bank, because when you look at the P&L, we've invested a lot into assets, and a lot of the money goes back into the business. It's just how you need to grow, you need to invest, and that's something that we're really focusing on. So with that, growth sucks cash flow, and that's something I'm learning the hard way. But as we take on more finance and we take on more monthly expenditure, it gets a bit more serious. We ran the numbers the other week there, and on average to run the business we are talking about £16,000 a month just on running the business. Now that does include wages, finance payments, insurance, blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, £16,000 a month just to sort of stay afloat. It's a lot of money, so it is getting a lot more serious now. Before I would kind of, if I was in a sticky situation, I would always scrape my way out of it. But when you've got that much money committed to coming out of your bank account every month, then you do need to sort of take a step back and sort of make some sense of it all and be a bit more careful. So I am learning that. I am trying to refrain from splashing the cash too much, but I've got big ambitions. I've also got ADHD, so impulsive spending is a bit of an issue. So anyway, that's the rant over. It is currently 4:25 on a Monday, and the guys shouldn't be long finishing the grass. The guys are back. The yard is full. How's your day been then?
Smashing.
Smashing. Big words.
Fantabulous.
Mike, I don't think that's an addiction. Like,
Mike's language.
that's Mike's language. I know a lot of people don't understand. Fantabulous. Not a bad day for the first cuts. The first of the last cuts. We've got the young loon in for the week because he's on holiday.
Yeah, on
So,
holiday at work.
best way to spend your holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Kyle's like,
No,
go.
he's just looking, he looks terrified at the camera.
Nothing to be terrified of.
Jump up and bite you.
Has anyone got 10 minutes? Come and unload this wood. It's just going on my road. So that is the team gone home after a pretty successful day of grass cutting. I've got someone coming to pick up a bag of staves that we have left, so I'm going to get that ready for them. So team, that is it for me today. Just going to get this guy loaded up when he arrives, probably head home for some dinner and then see where the night takes me. Got quite a few things to do. What I end up doing, I don't know. I would like to try and get to the gym, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. How are you? The loon's back.
The loon's back.
Hi, buddy!
I've missed you. I've not.
How was your holiday?
It's good, aye.
Good.
Yeah, really good.
What did you do?
Everything. The weather wasn't great a few days, so we were just at in the villa, but went just into the town, went to a massive water park.
What time did you get back? Yesterday? This morning?
I feel alright now. Got a coffee.
He was back 4 hours ago. Right. So that's Mike and Alex away to do the grass, the final cuts of the year. I say final cuts, they're the final organised cuts. But whether or not people will want us back to do one more, just depends. But these are the final organised cuts. We've got about 14 cuts in a year, probably quite a lot less than a lot of other people. Depends where you are in the UK, but yeah, it's kind of a cold place here, so the grass tends to slow down. But anyway, myself, Damien and Kyle are going to crack on with some hedge work. So this is the job in hand. We've got a lovely burn running down, unfortunately. So the welly boots will come in handy this time. Not a very dense conifer, so it shouldn't take too long to sort of nip up. But the only difficult part is the height from the other side. Because of the burn, you're kind of limited for space. So we've got the 16-foot henchmans now, so that should make it a bit easier. But again, you were kind of stretched out before. So yeah, see how we get on. So So just went out to check on Mike and Alex. They're getting on fine. Back on site now with the guys. Look at you, you're just a model. So this hedge before was double the height, at least. And I think the previous guys, Alan and Darren, they trimmed it. So then they got too busy and then passed it on to us. Struggling. What do you think is the reason? Think it's anything to do with the lack of sleep and getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning? You're doing fine. The guys are cracking on with that. Just getting Damien to hold the ladder, or vice versa. One person to hold the ladder just in case. As it is in a burn, there's going to be slippy rocks, etc. But those ladders are pretty stable, so as long as you find a footing, then it's going to be fine. But total game changer. Total game changer. Just here with the Cress. I don't actually know what model this is. Anyway, we've got the Cyber Nano, and it's a much lighter battery. I recommend using them for the hedge trimmers. The bigger 60 volt ones are a tad heavy for the hedge trimming, unless you have it in the small handheld hedge trimmer. I say small handheld, it's just the smaller compact one. But yeah, so far so good. It's a robust bit of kit inspecting the hedge. So Jaeger, what do you think about the hedge?
Well, I think it's probably kind of up to standard. I could probably do better myself, but I've got better things to do than that. So yeah, thank you very much. You got any biscuits?
I need to get a tarpaulin or something to go on the ground back there to catch the hedge trimmings, because they'll be a nightmare to clean on the gravel. So we've got the Cyber capsule here, ready to charge batteries when we need to. These are the 60 volt ones we're talking about. And hopefully this is going to be handy. Great little bit of kit. What's your thoughts on the Cress?
I could chop this whole tree down with this thing.
Secateurs. Do you like them, Dan?
It's like something out of a magazine.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, like a Vogue magazine.
Yeah, Vogue.
So we have the Cress backpack blower with the 11 amp hour battery on the back. Got some conifer clippings all the way along this fence. See how it performs. Easily done. And nice and quiet. Quite impressed, to be fair. We've lost a bar of power, but which is understandable because these things eat a lot of power. But we've still got 4 bars of battery. You're not going to get hours and hours and hours of blowing time, and the petrol will last longer, but it's countering that with less vibrations. Like if I'm on the blower all day, my fingers get it, white finger. With this, you get none of that. There's literally no vibration in this handle, really. It'll be minimal if there is. It's just weighing up that benefit. So yeah, pretty impressed with it so far. So that is us finished for the day. Mike is back, Alex is headed off. I think he needed to go. The guys are just getting the hedge trimmers blown off and sprayed. Do you want me to do that? Running out.
I'm gonna hold it still.
That's the worst thing that could ever happen, because I'll move into it. Cool. That one always starts.
How did your day go, Michael?
Yes, very well, thanks.
Good. Recap.
And some.
And some.
And some.
It's got ahead of the schedule. What are you going to do now? You're going to go home and sleep?
No. Sleep is for the weak.
He just called you weak.
Week.
Everyone sleeps, Damien. Did you get any sleep?
Ah, go shut my eyes,
I shut my eyes, opened them and went to work. Well, that's us for today. Just getting packed up and we'll see you tomorrow. I can tell you love this camera so much. Say bye, Kyle.
Bye.
Intro.
Here we are at Tomor to prune some ridiculous hedges. Well, not hedges, topiary. Should be quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's, every shape you can imagine.
Very cool job, isn't it? So it is a Wednesday. It's actually 12 o'clock. This morning we finished the job that we started yesterday afternoon. Got that finished off. And now we are finally at Topiary, the distillery, to crack on with the topiary. We are a bit late in doing so, but the weather is still quite mild. So we're going to start getting it nipped up. But yeah, I'm really quite looking forward to it. And Kyle is looking forward to it too. This is an absolute cracking little area, really cool. So this isn't something that we've done before. Obviously we've trimmed a lot of shrubs, conifers in shapes, but in terms of actual topiary, this is the first sort of contract we've got, so I'm really quite excited about that. We also do the grass cutting here at the distillery, so they've now taken us on board to do the topiary as well, which is a big trust because all these bushes are listed. This is a listed building, which means by law these all need to be maintained and or replaced if they're damaged or not well. They need to be maintained, as well as the fence at the front. You'll see over there, that needs to be the same if it ever gets replaced. So yeah, quite an important job that we're happy to kind of crack on with. So I'm going to get set up, see what we can do. Probably going to start down the front here. Kyle's going to go finish some rhododendrons that we started last time when we were here. But we'll start down here probably and then go from there. I feel really under-equipped camera-wise. I've no tripod or anything to set these up, but I think we'll start on this one here and work our way back. That'd be a good idea. All right. Bigger yard. This is not ideal. Right, that's been navigated. How do I turn the lights on in this thing? Aha! It's been a while since I've been in the beaver tail. Good morning, folks. It is Thursday. Had to check there. It is Thursday morning. Didn't get a chance to end the video yesterday as we finished up Topiary, the distillery. We will be back there again today. Myself and Damien this time. Kyle is off today and tomorrow with the kids as school holidays, and he couldn't get cover for them, so he's took that off. So just met Mike and Alex back in the yard there. They're getting set up, ready to go grass cutting. Alex is back in today, so that's all fine and well. They can crack on with that and getting the last cuts out the way. Good for Alex to sort of get familiar with the route and everything as well, when there's a little bit less pressure, because we're not sort of against the clock in terms of trying to get on top of the growth and get it done as soon as we can. So yeah, it's a good sort of time to just take it a little bit easy, because the guys are getting through all the grass pretty easy anyway. You know, they're finishing early because it's just simply not taking as long. But should you charge less for that? No, you shouldn't, because when the going gets tough and the grass is 4 feet long, I don't charge any more for the time it takes to try and get on top of it. So when you actually get a break and you're cutting a considerable, you know, amount of grass, manageable amount of grass, then yeah, that should be your own benefit. Anyway, why am I in the beaver tail? I'm away to pick up Damien. The crafter is going into the coach builders to get the cage sides put on the back. They've been sent away to the galvanizers, so they're all galvanized. They'll be nice and shiny, protected from rust. And yeah, I'm going to drop it off this morning, pick up Damien. The reason I've got the beaver tail is because I believe there's still a ladder in the van and I don't have a roof rack on my pickup, so we've taken this instead. So I'm going to go pick up Damien, get back to the yard, quickly load up and then head to Tobermoor. It'll be a half day for me because I have some other commitments in the afternoon. So yeah, weather-wise, pretty wet, pretty damp, clouds this time of year, isn't it? Although yesterday was quite a nice day. It was quite warm yesterday, so yeah. It's certainly not cold. It's 10 degrees. Some people that will be freezing, but yeah, that's that's mild to us. The ignition barrel of this van is starting to play up. It's been playing up for a while, right enough, but it's getting considerably worse. Trying to turn the key is a bit of a mission. Even when the steering lock has came off, you still can't turn the key. You've got to play about with it to try and get it to turn. So I'm gonna have to get the mechanic to look at that. So there's always something. So anyway, we'll head on through and we will pick up Damien. So we're back in the yard now, picked up the loom, just going to get loaded up now and head to the distillery. Hopefully the sun comes out and it's a nice day. Just going to get the hedge trimmers, ladders, batteries, etc. loaded into the beaver tail. I am thinking about getting a toolbox now that the grass cutting is going to be over. Maybe getting a toolbox for the back to try and keep tools in and to keep them dry, especially over the winter months. Not to stay in the van obviously, but just when we're transporting. But we'll see. More money to be spent.
Hi everyone, we are here at Tobermoor on this fine Thursday morning. Some challenging hedges. What's the professional term? Topiary. Topiary. But we've made a start on the front side. We've done all the other ones around the front. All sorts of shapes and sizes and varieties. So we're going to try and make a start.
Would you say you quite like the sort of hedge trimming?
Aye, yeah. I like to put some music in, a bit of podcasting and just rattle them all out.
Damien's going to finish off on that side. I'm going to make a start over here and see how we get on. We'll probably be back here tomorrow. Yeah, that is the plan of action. So the crafter is obviously getting the sides put on so we don't have any storage. So we've got the batteries here on the seat. Damien was using the Husky 520i HE3 and it just decided to stop working. I'm not even going to try and turn it on because there's no battery in it, but it just stopped working. So we're another hedge trimmer down. Already got one up getting fixed. A Husqvarna one as well. It's not even 2 years old, or just 2 years old, and it's broken. We barely use it. It's one of the smaller ones, the HD something, and they're quoting me over £200 to get a new control unit in it. And I'm trying to argue with them the fact that it's barely done any hours. So we're 2 hedge trimmers down. They have given us 2 of their demo fleet to use while ours are getting fixed, so we can utilise them and also the crest stuff. But we've only got two crest hedge trimmers. Damien's using the other Husqvarna one we've got and the long reach, but the long reach is playing up as well. The gearbox, I don't know if it's a gearbox or it just sort of pulsates. So yeah, hedge trimmers are becoming a bit of an issue this year, but we'll persevere with what we've got. Weapon of choice for me is this. Now I don't know where the model number is on these. The KC200. So between that and the other one we've got in here, I'm going to put this nano battery in. We've got the Cyberlight tank on the back. Now this could ideally be bolted into the van floor if you needed it, much like the Cyber tank. So probably quite a good solution. And there is a cover that goes over it as well. I'd say it's waterproof, but the cover would just protect it from the elements. So anyway, we'll get this battery in here and get started. Right then, we skip forward to 20 to 7 at night. I left Damien to it, he got on fine at the topiary, made a bit more progress. We will be back there tomorrow. Mike and Alex, again, fine with the grass, just getting through the final cuts. The grass isn't really growing that much. Some are longer than others, as always, but yeah, the weather wasn't too bad today either. So I've literally just arrived back in the yard after picking up the van, and I thought I would let you see the new sides we've got. Now, bear in mind it is dark. So we have got full removable sides all the way around. Barn doors on the back, take that off, that swings round. And unfortunately it doesn't close right the way back, but it's just the nature of, that's doubled up. It's just the nature of the way the door was made, and it just wouldn't be able to come that far around unless maybe the hinges were on the outside, but then it's going to be sticking out. But the transit one that we used to have, it used to go right the way around and hook onto the side, but this is a different van, so it is slightly different. But nevertheless, this is going to be a lot handier for taking waste away. Now, one thing the transit did not have was this, a chip flap. Now, we don't have a designated chipping body on any of our, well, we've only got one tipper now, but because this is a sort of multi-purpose van and we aren't tree surgeons, we aren't chipping all the time, so it was necessary that we could take the sides off, but also we have a solution for chipping if we need it, because before the transit didn't have anything to catch the wood chip, and it would just make an absolute mess of the van. The windscreen and everything would be covered in sawdust and sap, and it was just a nightmare. Now, I know the chip flaps normally come out a little bit longer, but I just wanted something that could be bolted on. This can be removed by 4 bolts, and we can take that off if need be. And yeah, hopefully then when the wood chip hits that, it's not then gonna, you know, blow up over the van. So that should solve that issue. But yeah, overall pretty impressed with it. It's not a cheap thing to make. It cost quite a bit of money, not going to lie, but hopefully it's going to return the investment, just being a bit more efficient really. But again, these can all be removed. Doors can come off. These would just bolt out, remove that, bolt off the sides, take that off, and then you've got an open pickup again. Now the chances are this is probably something that's going to stay on for the winter while we do more sort of garden clearances and tree work, etc. And then come the summertime, depending on what we do, it might come off. But that's just the way it worked with the transit, because the transit was our main vehicle. We needed the sides off for like the grass cutting, etc. So we just took them off, but they were easier to come on and off. This one, however, is bolts, so because it's bolted on, I can imagine we're probably just going to make do it being on, and then yeah, when we really need it off and we're kind of finished with it, then we can take the sides off. So yeah, again, making more investment into the fleet and streamlining what we've already got, making it more efficient. So these can still come down, so you can still get access into tools, reach in and grab whatever, and then just fire that back up. So yeah, hopefully a good addition.